Elon Musk's turn toward Christianity shocked the world, and his story is one that leaves everyone speechless. Elon Musk is not someone you'd easily connect with religion. He has always been seen as a man of reason, logic, and innovation. For most of his life, he focused on solving problems that others thought impossible. Whether it was reusable rockets, self-driving cars, or artificial intelligence, his life seemed to revolve around science and technology. But even with all his success, Elon found himself wondering about something much greater than any of his creations. The journey began with questions that even the sharpest minds struggle to answer. What is the purpose of life? Why do we exist? Is there something more beyond what we can see? For Elon, these questions didn't just come out of nowhere. They were the result of a life lived on the edge of human achievement. He had reached heights most people couldn't dream of, but deep inside, he felt there was something missing. Something no amount of money, fame, or success could provide. It wasn't an overnight realization. Elon Musk is not the type of person to blindly accept something. He approaches everything in life with caution and curiosity. When these questions about existence started to fill his mind, he treated them like a puzzle that needed solving. And the more he explored, the more he realized that the answers might not lie in science alone. This marked the beginning of a journey that would change his life forever. Elon's first steps toward Christianity didn't come from a religious upbringing. In fact, religion was not a big part of his early life. Growing up in South Africa, his environment was more focused on education, creativity, and ambition. Faith wasn't something that occupied his thoughts back then. Yet, as he grew older and started looking at the bigger picture, he found himself drawn to questions of spirituality. It's often said that the search for meaning begins when we realize that the material world cannot satisfy the soul. For Elon Musk, this realization became clearer with time. He started noticing patterns in the universe, patterns that pointed towards something greater. The precision of the planets, the beauty of nature, and the complexity of life, all these things seemed too perfect to be random. For the first time, Elon Musk began to wonder if there was a designer behind it all. The journey wasn't easy. Elon is someone who builds his beliefs on evidence and logic. Yet, the more he explored, the more he realized that faith didn't have to contradict reason. In fact, faith could complement it. The idea of God became more than just a concept. It became a possibility he couldn't ignore. But this was only the beginning. The road ahead was filled with discoveries, challenges, and revelations that would leave even Elon Musk amazed. Elon Musk has always been curious. As a child, he spent hours reading books and exploring ideas that most kids his age couldn't understand. His mind was always filled with questions, and as he grew older, these questions only became bigger. Why are we here? What happens after we die? These weren't just passing thoughts for Elon. They became a driving force behind his journey. Despite all his achievements, Elon often found himself thinking about the purpose of life. Was it to create, to innovate, to help humanity progress? Or was there something deeper? These thoughts became more frequent as he reached new milestones in his career. With every breakthrough, he felt a sense of accomplishment, but it was always temporary. The deeper satisfaction he was looking for remained out of reach. Elon's reflections often took him to the vastness of the universe. Space was something he was deeply passionate about, but it also humbled him. Looking at the stars, he realized how small and insignificant human life could seem in the grand scheme of things. Yet, at the same time, he couldn't shake the feeling that life had meaning. How could something as complex as human existence be an accident? How could love, hope, and morality arise from random chance? These thoughts pushed Elon to explore ideas he had never considered before. He started reading about different philosophies and religions. While he respected all beliefs, Christianity stood out to him in a unique way. The Bible wasn't just a book of rules or stories. To Elon, it was a message of hope and purpose. The more he read, the more he was drawn to the teachings of Jesus Christ. The idea of a God who loved humanity and had a plan for it was both comforting and intriguing. But Elon didn't stop there. He wanted to understand if faith could stand up to reason. He began reading works by Christian thinkers who combined faith and logic. Their arguments challenged him in ways he didn't expect. They showed him that belief in God wasn't about rejecting science, it was about going beyond it. For Elon, this was a revelation. Faith wasn't about abandoning questions, it was about finding answers that science alone couldn't provide. As Elon dug deeper, he started to see how his own life fit into the bigger picture. His work, his dreams, and even his struggles began to make more sense when seen through the lens of faith. He started to believe that his talents and opportunities were not just random. They were gifts meant to be used for a purpose greater than himself. This realization marked a turning point in Elon's journey. He was no longer just a man of science. He was becoming a man of faith. For Elon Musk, life has always been about discovery. Whether he was building electric cars, launching rockets, or imagining life on Mars, he pushed boundaries and explored the unknown. But the journey that led him to faith wasn't about science or innovation, it was deeply personal. It was about finding answers to the most profound questions of existence. Elon's interest in Christianity began as intellectual curiosity, but it soon became something much more meaningful. He approached the Bible like he would approach any subject, methodically, with a thirst for understanding. At first, it was just another book to study. He read stories about creation, miracles, and the life of Jesus Christ. He analyzed the teachings and compared them with other philosophies. Yet, as he delved deeper, something unexpected happened. These weren't just words on a page, they began to resonate with him on a level he hadn't anticipated. One of the teachings that struck Elon the most was the concept of grace. Unlike the world of business or science, where success comes from hard work and results, Christianity offered a completely different perspective. It spoke of unconditional love, forgiveness, and redemption, not as something earned, but as a gift from God. For a man who had spent his life striving for perfection and innovation, this idea was both humbling and transformative. But Elon didn't just stop at reading. He wanted to experience what faith felt like. He started attending church services and listening to sermons. At first, it felt foreign, even uncomfortable. Sitting in a pew was a far cry from his usual routine of board meetings and lab experiments. Yet, the more he engaged, the more he found himself drawn to the sense of community and purpose that faith offered. These gatherings weren't about wealth, status, or achievements. They were about something far greater, a shared belief in a higher power. One particular moment stood out during his journey. It was a quiet evening, and Elon found himself alone, reflecting on his life. He thought about the struggles he had faced, the moments of doubt, failure, and pain. For all his success, there were times when he had felt deeply alone. In that moment, almost instinctively, he prayed. It wasn't a formal prayer or a rehearsed speech. It was simple, raw, and honest. "God, if you're there, show me the way," he whispered. What followed was not a dramatic miracle. The room didn't fill with light, and no voice spoke to him from the heavens. Yet, Elon felt something profound, an overwhelming sense of peace. It wasn't something he could explain or measure, but it was real. For the first time, he felt connected to something greater than himself. That moment marked the beginning of his relationship with God. Elon's encounter with faith wasn't about abandoning reason or science. It was about embracing a new dimension of understanding. For someone who had always relied on logic, this experience was a reminder that not everything in life can be calculated or predicted. Some things, like love, hope, and faith, exist beyond the realm of science. And for Elon, that realization was life-changing. As Elon Musk continued his journey into faith, he realized that it wasn't just about personal growth. It was about transformation, seeing the world through a completely different lens. Faith began to influence not only his thoughts but also his actions. It gave him a new perspective on his work, his relationships, and his purpose in life. For years, Elon's focus had been on creating solutions to humanity's greatest challenges. From renewable energy to space exploration, his projects were driven by a desire to ensure the survival of the human race. But faith introduced a new dimension to his mission. It wasn't just about survival anymore, it was about meaning. Why should humanity survive? What is the purpose of our existence? These questions, once abstract, became deeply personal to Elon. Faith didn't make Elon less of a scientist. If anything, it made him a better one. He began to see his work as part of a larger plan. The universe, with all its complexity and beauty, wasn't just a random accident. It was a masterpiece, created by a higher power. This perspective gave him a sense of awe and wonder that he hadn't felt before. It also gave him a renewed sense of responsibility. If life was a gift, then it was his duty to use his talents for the greater good. One of the most noticeable changes in Elon's life was his attitude toward challenges. In the past, he had faced setbacks with determination and grit. But faith taught him something new: humility. He began to understand that not everything was in his control. There were times when he had to let go and trust in a higher power. This didn't mean giving up, it meant finding strength in surrender. It was a lesson that transformed the way he approached both his personal and professional life. Elon's newfound faith also had an impact on his relationship. For someone who had often been described as intense and driven, faith introduced a softer side. He became more open to listening, understanding, and connecting with others. He realized that his success wasn't just the result of his own effort. It was also the result of the people around him, their support, love, and prayers. But Elon's journey to faith wasn't without its challenges. As a public figure, his every move was scrutinized. When he began to speak openly about his belief in God, it sparked a wave of reactions. Some people admired his honesty, while others were skeptical. Critics questioned whether his faith was genuine or just another PR move. But Elon didn't let the criticism deter him. For him, this wasn't about public opinion, it was about a deeply personal transformation. Faith didn't just change Elon Musk's life, it gave it a new direction. It wasn't about abandoning his goals or dreams. It was about aligning them with a higher purpose. For Elon, faith wasn't the end of the journey. It was the beginning of a new one, a journey that would leave the world speechless. By now, Elon Musk had started to embrace a new purpose that went far beyond his ambitious tech ventures. It wasn't just about sending rockets to Mars or changing the automotive industry anymore, it was about fulfilling a greater calling, something deeply rooted in faith. The logical mind that had once been so focused on concrete solutions and measurable outcomes now had to grapple with something intangible, the idea that his life and work had a divine purpose. The more Elon immersed himself in his faith, the clearer his sense of purpose became. He realized that the technologies he had created, electric cars, solar energy solutions, space exploration, were not just for innovation's sake. They were part of a larger vision, a vision for humanity's future, where life on Earth could flourish sustainably, and where the human race could spread across the stars. This vision, fueled by faith, had a far more profound significance. It wasn't just about scientific achievement, it was about ensuring the survival and well-being of humanity, in alignment with the greater good of creation. One of the most significant moments of change came when Elon started viewing his success through a lens of stewardship rather than ownership. In the past, he had often been the sole visionary, driving forward his ventures with relentless energy. But now, he saw his role as that of a steward, entrusted with the responsibility to use his abilities and resources for the benefit of others. His ventures, once purely driven by a desire to revolutionize industries, became acts of service to the world. The more Elon meditated on the concept of stewardship, the more he realized that this new perspective could reshape the way he approached his work. It wasn't just about making the next groundbreaking discovery, it was about using his platform and influence to inspire others to think bigger, to think not only about profit but about purpose. He started to make decisions that considered long-term impact rather than short-term reward. He even began to focus more on philanthropic efforts, hoping that his work would leave a legacy that went beyond technology, one that would impact lives in a positive, meaningful way. In conversations with other innovators, Elon began to introduce the idea of aligning technological progress with a sense of spiritual purpose. This didn't mean preaching religion in the traditional sense. Instead, it meant asking deeper questions about why humanity does what it does, and how that should influence the path forward. Elon would often point out that technology, when guided by a sense of responsibility and faith, had the power to create a future that was not only successful but also filled with hope and dignity for all. Through all this, Elon never felt more connected to his calling. His heart had found a purpose that transcended his work. It was about contributing to a world where future generations could live better lives, with faith, hope, and compassion guiding their way. But this didn't mean the challenges stopped coming. In fact, they became more daunting, as the weight of his beliefs and mission began to place more pressure on him. Yet, despite the growing obstacles, Elon faced them with a newfound resilience, no longer merely driven by ambition, but by the clarity of his purpose. Elon Musk's journey wasn't without its struggles. In fact, as he grew more open about his faith, he encountered a new set of challenges, this time in the realm of public perception. While some applauded his transformation, others ridiculed him for what they saw as a drastic departure from the persona of the tech visionary they had come to admire. The harsh criticisms didn't faze him, though. For someone who had faced countless failures and roadblocks throughout his career, this was just another hurdle to overcome. What mattered now wasn't what others thought, it was the quiet assurance he felt in his faith. He knew that no matter how hard the world pushed against him, he was now on a path that felt right to him. Elon's work continued, but the way he approached it had changed. Where once he had felt the need to control every outcome, he began to find strength in surrender. Not surrendering to failure, but surrendering to the idea that there was a greater plan, one that didn't always follow a predictable path. His faith helped him navigate the unpredictable world of business and technology with a calmness that had previously been absent. He started to take setbacks in stride, focusing more on what he could learn from each experience than on how quickly he could move past it. One such moment came when SpaceX faced a major setback, an explosive failure of one of their rockets during a high-profile test. In the past, Elon would have been consumed with frustration, but now, he took a step back. He reminded his team that failure was not the end. It was part of the process. We learn, we adapt, we move forward, he told them. That moment of calm was a reflection of the deep peace he had found in his faith. But it wasn't just about business. Elon's faith also shaped his personal life. While he had always been fiercely independent, faith taught him the importance of relationship. He sought more time with his family and close friends, recognizing that they were just as much a part of his mission as his technological endeavors. The bonds he formed in these relationships were a reminder that success didn't come from what you achieved, it came from the people you impacted along the way. The more he embraced his faith, the more he saw how interconnected everything was. His work, his family, his relationships, all were part of a greater story that was still unfolding. As time went on, Elon Musk became a symbol of how faith and innovation can coexist. His story, one of incredible achievement and profound personal transformation, left a lasting impact not only in the tech world but in the hearts of many. He showed that even the most rational, science-driven individuals could find a place for faith in their life. Elon's legacy would not be just about rockets, electric cars, or artificial intelligence, it would be about using those tools for something greater than himself. His journey was a reminder that no matter how advanced we become, there are some mysteries of life that science can't answer, and those are the ones where faith becomes most powerful. Through his faith, Elon found a sense of purpose that anchored him amidst the noise of success and failure alike. And as for the future? Well, Elon Musk's journey was just beginning. With a heart full of faith and a mind determined to explore the unknown, the world couldn't wait to see where this new chapter would lead. As Elon's journey of faith deepened, he found that his beliefs and his passion for innovation were no longer separate. They began to converge in ways that were both surprising and transformative. Elon's worldview shifted from one where technological progress was an end in itself, to one where progress served a greater purpose, to improve humanity and the world in ways that honored his values. At Tesla, for example, Elon began to see the electric vehicle revolution not just as a business venture, but as a moral imperative. The shift from fossil fuels to clean energy, he realized, was about more than just reducing emissions, it was about healing the planet, a responsibility that aligned with his faith's call to care for creation. Similarly, at SpaceX, the idea of making life multiplanetary no longer seemed like a futuristic, self-serving dream, but a profound mission to preserve human civilization in case of unforeseen disasters on Earth. It was an act of stewardship, a way of ensuring that humanity could continue to thrive and grow, no matter the challenges that lay ahead. This new perspective on innovation inspired Elon to push even harder toward his ambitious goals. He became more focused on integrating spirituality into the core of his work, seeking ways in which technology could not only advance but also foster a sense of connection and purpose. He began to approach new ideas with a mindset that blended both technological and spiritual considerations, asking, how can this help people? How can this benefit the world in a way that reflects compassion, kindness, and responsibility? One of the most profound projects that emerged from this intersection of faith and innovation was a new initiative at Neuralink. While the company had initially focused on advancing brain-machine interfaces for medical and scientific purposes, Elon began to envision a world where technology could help humans transcend their limitations and connect with one another on a deeper level. Rather than simply focusing on fixing ailments, he started exploring ways that Neuralink could enhance empathy and foster greater understanding between people, enabling individuals to literally experience each other's thoughts and emotions. It was a bold vision that combined the best of both science and spirituality, a future where technology was used not to replace human connection, but to enhance it in ways that were both meaningful and transformative. As the years passed, Elon Musk's journey of faith continued to shape his legacy. No longer was he known solely for his achievements in business or technology. Instead, he became a symbol of what it meant to live with purpose, a purpose that extended far beyond material success. Elon's faith had given him the clarity to see that true fulfillment didn't come from accumulating wealth or fame, but from serving others and contributing to the greater good. Elon's influence reached far beyond his companies. He became a mentor to countless young innovators, teaching them not just how to succeed in business, but how to do so in a way that aligned with values of compassion, humility, and responsibility. He shared his story openly, encouraging others to seek faith and purpose in their own lives, regardless of their background or belief. His message was simple yet powerful. Success wasn't just about what you achieved, but about how you used your talents to make the world a better place. In his later years, Elon stepped back from the public spotlight, choosing instead to focus on the work that mattered most to him. His family, his faith, and his commitment to leaving behind a legacy that reflected the values he held dear. His ventures continued to thrive, but they were now more about the people they helped and the positive impact they had on society than the financial returns they generated. Elon's final years were filled with quiet reflection. He often spent time in prayer, contemplating the journey he had taken and the ways in which his life had been transformed. Looking back, he saw a path that had begun with ambition and ended with a deep sense of peace, a peace that came not from achieving everything he had once set out to do, but from knowing that he had lived a life that was true to his values. And in the end, Elon Musk's story was not just one of technological achievement or corporate success. It was a story of redemption, of faith leading a visionary to discover a purpose far greater than he had ever imagined. It was a story of how, by aligning one's work with a higher purpose, true transformation could take place, not only in the world but in the heart and soul of the individual. Elon Musk's journey to Christianity is a testament to the power of faith in shaping one's purpose and direction in life. From a man driven solely by innovation and success, he evolved into a visionary whose work was guided by a higher calling. His story shows that true fulfillment comes not from material achievements, but from living with compassion, humility, and a sense of responsibility toward others. Musk's transformation reflects the profound impact faith can have, not just on personal growth, but on the way we contribute to the world, a legacy of purpose that will inspire generations.